fuzzy. So we put the last two gardens in for the backyard here, and we're getting ready to sod and fill it all in. Normally I would seed all this, but with the wet weather coming and not a lot of time with everything going on, and the cost of seed is extremely high right now, we decided to go with sod. So I measured out all the sod, the square footage we need. We put some really good underlay down, as in some compost type soil. I'll finish leveling off with the landscaping rake and then begin putting the sod down. We have the finishing touches to put on the top of the two last beds we put in. Then this area is pretty much done back here. It's a beautiful area to grow, and we'll be able to grow all our food in both the beds here. And then Karen's got that here for some fruit and some other things over there. So we've calculated the amount of sod we need by measuring the square footage in the backyard around the gardens, and we put an order in, and we're able to get curbside delivery during the pandemic shutdowns. So right now I have enough sod to finish off the area around the gardens in the back, and I'll go through the whole setup with you shortly. So we started doing the videos a couple weeks ago, and we really looked at what we wanted to show people as far as helping them out, regular homeowners and people starting out small gardens, something we've been doing for a long time. Unfortunately, the pandemic situation really got tough for me, and I was working long hours and putting in a great deal of time at the front lines. We're successful right now in protecting the people that we care about. We're doing the job we need to do, and now I want to get back to basics, showing people how to live a little bit more down to earth, a little simpler, and hopefully help a few people make their life better. This is a really nice sod from our local nursery. We got really lucky with this. Normally there's not so much available. They had a couple pallets just come in, and we grabbed as much as we could for this project here. The nice thing about putting sod down, of course, as soon as I put this sod down and I cap these beds here, we'll be completely done back here, and it should take nicely. We prepped all the ground. We aerated first. We then put the topsoil down, and now we're ready for the final touch of the sod, and it'll make this area so nice. There's a little artist studio behind me here that's still filled with junk that we're going to clean out this weekend and get rid of most of it, and it'll be a beautiful, beautiful addition to the property. And there's a lot of junk in there. So a couple basic tools you need are the round nose shovel and the square nose shovel like this, the spade. We're going to be cutting around some rocks here, so you need to cut the contours. We'll roll it out and see exactly which method looks the best, but I want to make sure I get around the planter boxes and fill up this general area right here, which I have enough for. And I'll grab a roll and we'll get started. This was the first one here. It's heavy, so be prepared. There's nothing light about doing this. You want to make sure your edges are tight, but not overlapping. Bring in your corners. Make sure all the joints tuck in nicely. It doesn't have to be like tiling where it's perfect, and then you just roll it out. Make sure the ends come down flat, and you give it a little tamp. Want to make sure, important, is that all your joints don't end up in a row like this. even if you have to cut every other roll, and I like to take about a third, and then the joints are far apart. So you want to take, like I've done here, this first one comes up about a third into that roll there. And now our joints at the end here, at the end, will all be staggered, and you won't end up with one line that your lawnmower will catch later, or maybe water can accumulate there. And again, you want to pull it in tight. Make sure the ends are curled down. Up here all the way through, and you can't even see the seam. And this will all take nicely. It's the tight end roll that you have to be most concerned about. Now we're going to bring one here from the tree and around. And there's a few little cleanups in there. And grass is pretty hardy. The sod rolls, you don't have to be gentle with it. I try not to tear it, because when you tear it, it doesn't completely tear nicely. It's always nice to cut it with the round nose curve or the spade end, whatever you need. And again, make sure your joints aren't lined up too close together. That up. You always have a little piece you could drop in. It's the roots you want to make sure to get down to the base. It goes in there nicely. You got all this for filler you can use after around over there. And again, you're unrolling. The joints aren't tying together on the linear part here. And already the space is looking really nice. If you're doing a hill, you need to stake it. Otherwise, the first time it gets wet, it can slide. But for this flat surface, no reason to stake it at all. So I've got about half the load out here now. I'm going to bring the rest up from the truck, and I'll get back to you as soon as I finish putting it down. It'll be a beautiful space. So we've got this small space done. I'll be rolling it after, but it's not a high priority here. As you can see, there's a 70-year-old walkway here. We've tied into that nicely. It looks beautiful now. It's supposed to be a very quiet, reflective space. I really tried to capture the mood of the whole area back here. Privacy, quiet. We'll do some ground cover along the shrubs there. And along the shrubs here, we've got one or two cedars we'll clean up back in there. And then this space is pretty much the way I want it. The big priority, of course, is when you're sitting in the artist studio looking out, you're looking at the gardens, your shrubbery, the trees, and it looks very beautiful. So I hope this helped a little bit. Another beautiful space that Karen and I have created, and thanks for doing it with Dave, with Ozzy's help, of course. Take care.